Well, I'm Christopher Rice, and I was brought here by MARC ANDREYKO and Jody Wheeler. Actually, I was given a flyer for BentCon, I think maybe 3 years ago at the West Hollywood Book Festival. And I love it. I love doing these conferences. Writers, it's a very lonely profession, so whenever we can be in the company of other people, it's a good idea because it keeps us from going insane.
Have any of you read any of Chris's novels?
We're going to start that way. If you haven't, why not?
Because normally you go to the comic book conventions and you see the guys in really hot costumes and you're like, I wonder if, but here you kind of know, like they all are. So, but it's interesting. I really like it. I like anything that goes against type, and this does, I think, kind of go against type. I think in mainstream society, people think all gay people are sort of, you know, florists and costume designers, and gay comic book geeks is like a new type of emerging gay identity that I really think is fun.
Did you always want to be a writer? Was that something?
No, I had no interest in being a writer. I wanted to be an actor. I was like Glee in high school. I was like the theater kid. I did everything. I did.
You were kind of like a cross between Kurt and Finn.
Finn? Oh, it's taken a lot of gym time to get that compliment. Thanks, Martin. Because I was all Kurt then. I was Kurt with an endless series of clueless girlfriends is really what it was.
We've all been there.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I had a very good friend of mine, Greg Hurwitz, who just took over Dark Knight for DC Comics. He has published many thriller novels, and that's how I knew him. We would go to conferences together, and I made some wisecrack, smart-ass thing about comics, you know, and he came to my birthday dinner with a stack of graphic novels, which he pushed across the table at me, and they were of the type that he was working in at the time, which was more the sort of Garth Ennis, Preacher, which that one was a little too violent for me, but that sort of the grittier, crime-solving, mystery-oriented comics are more sort of my speed. But I love the intricacy of an alternate reality when it's beautifully illustrated and well-rendered as well. So
I had a natural ability with language in that I was a compulsive reader, and I was a very talented English student who had absolutely no interest in being a professional writer for the obvious reasons. I didn't want to compete with you-know-who. And I really wanted to be an actor, but the older I got, the more I wrote despite myself. And I think what happened was when the time came to decide on a college or to make some decisions that were going to affect that process, I realized I had absolutely no interest in going to a drama conservatory or auditioning for one. Who knows if I would have gotten in or not.
How do you feel about the portrayal of gay characters and gays in modern media right now?
I think it's interesting. I think we're in a transitional period. I think we are coming out of the initial big burst of, oh my God, we're everywhere on primetime television. I think we are getting tired of the coming out story, and we are asking for a sort of new, more, I guess not deeper is the word, but exploration of modern gay life, what it means to be a grown-up gay person as opposed to just a developing gay boy, you know? So I think it's a very interesting time. I think there is a little bit of mainstreaming that's happening, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I just think that we need to see a sort of diversifying of depictions now. You know, I think we're at a place where we're no longer the villain, and we're no longer depicted as being diseased or relentlessly tragic or just dying of AIDS, you know? But now it's about displaying that there are different types of gay people out there.
I wrote a screenplay, and it was the first thing I finished. It was terrible, but it was the first thing I finished. And it was, you know, gay revenge fantasy, everybody who did me wrong. And I'd just come out of the closet.
So it was like Carrie, but gay.
It ended in Rome. Yeah, but it was more like international intrigue, Carrie, with like the character that looked just like me was a cokehead, but he managed it well and killed everybody. Everybody was a Versace model. It was like,
And the rights are available.
yeah, and they will be forever.
Do you feel like the time period that we're living in and everything that's been going on with things like Prop 8 and our recent victories for marriage equality, do you think that that's shaping the way that gays are portrayed in the media now?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is shaping. I think there is a matter-of-factness to a lot of gay portrayals right now. I think the TV show Brothers and Sisters was the best example, where he was just part of the crew, you know, part of the family. Like, every scene that Kevin was in was not about the family trying to be okay with the fact that he was gay, you know. I just launched an internet radio show, and my best friend Eric Shaw Quinn, who is also my co-host, points to that as a sort of definitive example. You could watch that show and not feel like it was necessarily special in the negative meaning of the word, that it was finally a place at the table as opposed to our own sort of weird, dark table off in the corner. Next year, I have my first supernatural thriller ever. Is going to be published by Gallery Books, which is a division of Simon & Schuster. I've done a couple books with Simon & Schuster, but this is a new imprint that's taking me on. And this is the first time I've ever written a supernatural thriller. So it's exciting, but it's nerve-wracking at the same time.